and he will present today in honor of Water Awareness Month. And after he presents, we're going to hear from Dennis, director with Zone 7 Water District, who will make a presentation on what is happening with Zone 7 and the Water District. So, John, take it away.
Thank you, Sharon, for the introduction. That was fantastic. I also want to do a real quick introduction to Rob Seeley, who's our Government and Community Affairs Specialist within the company and represents Cal Water in Livermore. And also Margaret Goldman. Margaret, where I'll see you on the screen. Oh, there you are, right there, right above Rob. She's our conservation coordinator for the company. You'll hear a little bit about conservation from Margaret in our presentation today. I'm going to tell you real quick a little bit about the company and about Livermore. So California Water Service serves about 2 million customers in California in more than 110 communities, from Chico North to Palos Verdes Peninsula in the south. We are the second largest retail water provider in the state and the largest that's regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission. We believe strongly that everyone should have access to water that is safe, clean, reliable, and affordable. Providing for this for our customers requires a proactive commitment to infrastructure, investment, water quality, conservation, community, safety, and equity. One thing about Cal Water, we are the leaders in water quality. Our drinking water is among the safest in the nation. We have a very proactive investment in infrastructure. You might have seen some of the work that we're doing around I Street, K Street, off of College Avenue. That's all Cal Water. We have conservation and sustainability. We help customers save water while securing new supplies for the future. And you're going to hear a little bit from Margaret. We also offer low-income assistance. We're among the first to provide bill assistance for low-income customers. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later in the presentation. And community and safety partnerships. Our partnerships improve the community, safety, and quality of life. Here in Livermore, we have about 7,000 miles of water pipe to deliver the water to our customers. Oops, wrong page. My bad. Let me correct that. To support our 58,000 customers, we have 1,172,531 feet of pipe. That's a lot of pipe in the ground to deliver water. We have 2,100 fire hydrants, over 6,000 gate valves, 37 water tanks, 10 wells, and 50 booster pumps. All this to make sure that we deliver water on a day-to-day basis without interruption. Building and maintaining infrastructure is critical, delivering a safe, reliable water supply to our customers. And that's why Cal Water has invested more infrastructure maintenance and upgrades in the last decade than any other regulated water provider in California. Our community safety and partnerships, we are passionate about investing in communities we serve and improving the quality of life for our customers. This is a little outdated. In 2022, Cal Water donated $1.5 million to community organizations and customers in our service districts and beyond. We granted $185,000 to 7 fire departments to help pay for life-saving equipment. And Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department was a recipient of one of the grants. And we ordered $80,000 in scholarships to 12 students. So that's a little bit about Cal Water. Again, we've been serving Livermore District since 1927. Soon celebrating our 100th year anniversary here in Livermore, and that's something you're gonna see big celebrations for once we reach the 100-year mark. I'd like to turn this over to Rob Seeley next. Rob's going to talk a little bit about our community giving and what we do within our district we serve.
Thanks, John. Good morning, everybody. So I definitely wanted to just touch on how we are as an entity beyond the stuff that John talked about. So serving people clean, safe, reliable water is priority number one for us. But being a community partner means a lot to us, and it means a whole lot more than just being your water purveyor. And so many people that I see today we engage with on a yearly basis through philanthropic efforts, and the chamber is always wonderful to work with. So thank you so much for hosting us today, and all of your support and working with the mayor when we have community issues that arise, or his support and just the effort to make sure that we continue these high standards. But as John touched on, we also do a lot of philanthropic work. We have a firefighter grant program that goes out yearly, and just last year, Livermore Pleasanton was the recipient of a grant that allowed them to get a camera that's going to let them see through smoke. So it's going to make their job a whole lot better and safer when they go into a building that they have no regular visibility, and they're going to be able to go through and identify people that need to get out or infrastructure that needs to be handled more quickly. And that's going to be really great for the community. And we're very proud to continue to do that program. It was one of the things that I had never thought about before working in water, how closely a water system and the firefighters work together in an emergency to make sure that everything is safe in the community. So aside from that, we also do a lot of work within the community with LARPD, with some of the philanthropic organizations that deal with hunger and with people, more vulnerable communities. And so that's a partnership that we hope, in conjunction with everything else that we do, really brings the community up and makes us a partner and not just an entity that exists within the community. So again, I just wanted to share that information with you guys. Thank you for having us. And I'm going to turn it over to Margaret Golden to talk a little bit about conservation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Margaret Golden, Conservation Coordinator in the Central Region for the California Water Service. I think I've met some of you before at other Livermore events and the chamber mixers that you have in the fall. I've attended those the last 2 years. So yeah, it's great to hear all the updates that are going on. And yeah, thank you for having me. John and Rob did a great job of kind of introducing the company and talking about our government relations. And I'll talk a little bit about the conservation programs that we have available. We have a very robust list of programs, both for our residential and our commercial customers. Some of those include everything from high efficiency clothes washers, high efficiency toilets, and sprinkler nozzles as well. For both our residential and commercial customers. And then we also have programs such as our lawn to garden programs and our smart landscape tune-up programs that are more geared toward outdoor irrigation. And that's usually where we see a lot of our greatest water savings. So yeah, that's just a little brief overview. And if it's okay if I share my screen, I just have a interesting little graphic to share with everyone. Let's see. Okay, so, okay. Can everybody see the graphic?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so like I had mentioned, this graphic shows the annual lifetime savings of some of all of our water conservation programs, specifically in the year 2023. And then we also have our entire lifetime savings as well. So as you can see, the largest amount of our water savings usually comes from our outdoor irrigation. Like I mentioned, over 60 million gallons saved. But yeah, overall, and then you can see the final calculation on the bottom, the 1.3 billion gallons have been saved in our Livermore district since 2011. So yeah, just want to give a great kudos to the community. It has really been making great efforts towards water conservation. And yeah, we're really, really happy about that. And now, let's see, I will show just a quick video. Oops. Let's see, can I, sorry, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so just have some, oops. Okay.
While you're looking for that.
Sorry. Can everybody see the video?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
We still see the flyer.
Oops. New share. Okay. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, anyway, those are our programs, and just wanted to share some of the videos that we have going around our social media right now that are a bit more interesting, and yeah, encompass the different programs that we have. So I'll play those now. Oops.
Is anybody else getting audio on this?
No audio.
Okay, so one thing I'll just mention while the video it's since wrapped, but what that was demonstrating was one of the packages that we send out to customers for conservation kits. So it's got shower heads, toilet testers. A runny toilet is actually like a water sink. People don't realize it because it's happening so quietly and so slowly, but these kits really do help people save a lot of water.
I'm not sure how to connect the audio, but
It had the captions, right? Like, you know, I mean, I was reading along too.
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, sorry, yeah, John, did you want to go ahead?
No, I was just going to say we did a huge project with the city of Livermore at their water plant on Robertson Park Road recently, and that was a huge success. I think we took out 70,000 square feet of pipe, or excuse me, grass, something like that. It was something very enormous, and I know that was a huge success. So you should go by and take a look at that.
Hey, Margaret, do you, maybe you want to put the video in the chat?
Yeah, I'll
Maybe
go ahead and do
that'll
that.
work, so then people can, you know, run it on their own computers.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll throw those in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So lastly, the last thing I'd like to just talk about is you may have heard or seen in the newspaper, we put a news release out due to the financial impacts of COVID felt by California, by California Water Services customers with past due. Cal Water applied for and received more than $83 million through a California Extended Water and Wastewater Arrearage Payment Program to relieve residential and commercial customers of past due balances during the pandemic. The extended program administered by the State Water Resource Control Board enables water suppliers to apply for financial support on behalf of customers. Cal Water secured more than $20 million about 2 years ago through our original water wastewater arrearage payment program for past due balances incurred by residential and commercial customers from March of 2020 through 2021. These credits will be applied to customers' bills in the second quarter of 2024. So I wanted to get that out there. That's a huge relief for a lot of customers. Cal Water District will receive $6,426,624 in additional state funding that Cal Water applied for and secured. Within 60 days, Cal Water notified customers directly of a credit we applied to their accounts. Within 60 days, Cal Water applied credits to affected customers' accounts. So just want to give that shout out because that's huge. That's going to help a lot of customers, and a lot of customers avoid discontinuance. And that concludes our presentation. We're here to answer any questions. All right.
I have a question.
Yeah, Alan.
So I looked at the 20 to 22 water quality report, and it talks about the PFAS and the other variants of the fluorocarbons. And I noticed that the average local groundwater is listed as 4.6. The last thing I saw, I think it was more like 5 to 7. And I guess I was, number one, is it still in compliance? Number two, I understand that by blending with the Delta water, you can get down below, but how how do you do that to make sure each neighborhood is in compliance, not just on average?
So what we do is we treat our wellheads with carbon treatment there at the well site themselves.
Okay.
That also removes the PFAS and any other contaminant that's in the water. We do have another well that's going to be adding carbon treatment in the next year and a half, so that we are in compliance by the date set forth by the US EPA. And our water passes through an analyzer, so the analyzer will shut down the station if it detects. In these cases, where the analyzers are for high nitrates or another contaminant, VOCs.
Okay.
So it'll shut down the well if it recognizes that there's a problem.
Okay. In other words, you are proactively taking care of the situation.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just want to add that generally year by year, our water meets or exceeds all state and federal standards. So we're proactive. We have tests going out super regular. I think it's something like, I don't know, John, it might be over 80,000 tests going on every year on the water systems that we serve the communities with. And we have full teams in place that deal with all this, monitor the MCLs, make sure that we have processes in place to make sure that the water that comes into your tap for your businesses and homes is safe, clean, and reliable.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Mayor
I like-
Marshall, yeah.
I just want to put something in perspective here. There's been a lot of talk about the perfluoro and polyfluoro alkyl sulfonates, the PFOS and PFAS. So one of the questions that we always ask when we're talking about environmental contaminants is, what is the total daily mass loading? You know, how much do we actually get? And the standard right now in drinking water is 4 parts per trillion.
Brilliant.
Which is, you know, trillion with a T. Now, when I started out in the business, PPT was parts per thousand, and now we've gone multiple orders of magnitude smaller than that. So it's 4 parts per trillion. Now, when somebody comes home at night and they take off their Gore-Tex and Scotchgard treated jacket, and they take off their Scotchgard treated boots, which are also polyfluorocarbons, and then they cook their dinner in a Teflon pan, which has PFAS and PFOS in it, and then after dinner they walk onto their PFOS treated carpeting in their bare feet, and then they brush their teeth at night and then floss with their Teflon dental floss. The EPA has no idea what the total mass daily load is. But similarly, when they found out that the #1 cause of lead poisoning in children was HUD housing, it led the federal government to furiously find any other source possible, and they hit upon drinking water, because drinking water was billable. You could actually charge people for that. And it was an easy excuse. So before everybody gets really excited about this, let's consider all the other sources that we're talking about and not just drinking water, because drinking water is about the safest thing you can possibly do. And I got to give kudos to Cal Water. They do a tremendous job on both water reliability and water safety. So they're doing a great job. Thank you ever so much for looking after the community. Sincerely appreciated.
Thank you, Mayor Michon.
Okay, with that, Dennis.
Oh, okay, well, thank you for having me. John Freeman actually accosted me last week and asked that I make a presentation here. John, give me a few more days next time, though. Anyway, I think I want to share a screen. I think most of you know me. I'm a member of the board of Zone 7, and before that I was on staff for 34 years. I'm a civil engineer, and I've known and worked with John for many years, and I can speak to the philanthropic culture of the organization and We've always had a member in our Rotary Club, which was John previously, and John's coming back now. So I can verify that they do support the community. So, and I did also want to say that I really appreciate the presentation on the conservation. I'm not going to talk about it in my talk, but to me, it's an absolute given that in this state and permanently into the future, water conservation is a permanent part of the water picture, and it's going to, over time, develop more and more, and our lifestyles are going to change as a result of it. So even though I'm not going to speak to it, I would not underestimate its importance on that. So I'm going to try to share a screen here. See if that works. Does that work? Does anybody see the screen?
Yes, if you want to
Yes.
put it,
Okay.
yeah, presentation, you're good to go.
Now I gotta find the part where it turns it into a so I have to do it up here. Slideshow. Usually I do it at the bottom part.
There you go.
Okay, so we've done that. So I'm just going to cover just basically who we are a little bit, the current water supply conditions. We got enough water for this year, and some of the challenges that we're going to be facing and how we're going to meet those challenges. So first of all, we're a water wholesaler. Our treated water customers are mainly Cal Water, City of Livermore, City of Pleasanton, DSRSD. So City of Livermore has 2 retailers. Cal Water is the larger of the 2. I think it's about a 2-to-1 customer ratio, Cal Water being the larger of the 2. And 10% of our water is delivered to our ag customers, which are represented in green on this slide, Wendy being the largest one. And you can see this is the South Bay Aqueduct that kind of loops through that area and is where they get their supply from. So let's see. So basically, this is just a basic overview of our water supply. Most of it is imported. So 70% of the water that we receive local here is State Water Project water. It's imported. And then locally, we have some water rights in the Del Val. We have groundwater yield and recycled water for irrigation. And then in dry years, we use our storage to supply water. And in wet years, we put water back in storage. So with part of the State Water Project, there's a reservoir that provides storage, San Luis. We have the local groundwater basin. That is a humongous natural asset that we have here. It's the storage in that basin in particular. And then we have the use of groundwater banks in Kern County. So this year, local rainfall was above normal. And although it doesn't say it here, the Northern California area had above rainfall averages and snow. And so last week, we learned from our Department of Water Resources that we're getting a 40% allocation. Now, I want to tell you that normally we expect 55 to 60% in a normal year. But this year, it's only 40%. And the reason is that in order to protect salmon, they limited diversions. So we lost 15 to 20% of what we would have received in an average year, because they had to protect the salmon run. And so then we also get some local water. So this year we're going to use our groundwater less in supplying, which means we can recharge more. So what are our challenges? Replacing state water project delivery decreases due to regulatory requirements and environmental needs. We've lost somewhere around 20% over the last 20 years of what we thought we were going to get from the state. And so we've got to make that up. We also have a challenge in that the Delta levee failures due to an earthquake would prevent freshwater deliveries because the water would be too salty to deliver. New customer demands, I think about 20% of our water supply needs would be needed for new customers, and basically climate change, which I will now talk about. So there's going to be a wider variation in annual runoff because of climate change. There's more precipitation falls as rain instead of snow with the warming. And what snow does, it's like another reservoir that gets frozen up on the Sierras, so to speak, and releases during the summer instead of just flowing out to the Sacramento River to the bay. So flashier storms, that's the technical term, I guess. Anyway, so the challenge that we're going to have is how do we capture these increased flows? So I've listed the projects we've been part of or participating in some fashion. And Los Vaqueros expansion, Sites Reservoir, Delta Conveyance Project. So those are all things that we've been participating with and helping to study or do planning and environmental work on. Chain of Lakes is a little bit behind them, but that's a local one. And that's all Zone 7. We're not participating with anybody else in that particular one. And then potable reuse of local water and desal are also options. I'm not going to talk about them in any detail here. I think they're further down the line as possibilities. So they offer different advantages and disadvantages. None of them would be here anytime real soon. As you can see, the dates are off the next decade. So first, Los Vaqueros is probably likely the nearest term project that we would have to commit to. It would be located between Livermore, Brentwood, raises the dam height, but it's only storage now. It doesn't provide new water. So it's a place for us to park water south of the Delta so that then when we use it, we don't have problems with deliveries, like regulatory limitations. Our share hasn't been determined exactly yet, but it could be up to 10,000. I think one of the features, and I'll show it better in the next slide, is a pipeline that connects it. But basically, the JPA has been formed, and we've got service agreements are being developed. And anyway, they're working with the agencies now for the approvals to construct it. And so this is just maybe a better view in some ways of the detail. This is where the reservoir is located. There's existing facilities where they already fill the lake. They're going to add some more pumps out closer to the Delta or the straits there. And then one of the key features is a pipeline that would connect the reservoir with the California Aqueduct. And then we could get the water and others can get the water. Well, now Sites Reservoir. Sites is located northerly and westerly of Sacramento. It's off storage reservoir and it connects with existing canals to the Sacramento River. It's intended to be used for dry year water, which will complement us, say, when we had those droughts. Then this would be water we could use. Our participation is for 10,000 acre feet, and where they are, they've got through their EIR, and litigation is filed, and but they've submitted a completed water application. So they're pretty optimistic, though, that things are getting in line with financing. And I'm thinking this might be next in terms of our commitment as an agency. Then there's a Delta Conveyance project, and this is one tunnel underground, 45 miles long, 36 feet in diameter. It connects on the Sacramento River near Hood, and would go an alignment that would take it connected to the Bethany Reservoir. Well, Bethany Reservoir is located at the sort of the headwaters of the California Aqueduct. They finished their EIR. Litigation is filed on this project already, and this has got water rights hearing. It'll have a number of challenges, I think, when it comes to that. It's been controversial to a lot of folks in the state. Then Chain of Lakes, this is a project that kind of, it's a Zone 7 project, in that we're not participating, we don't have a bunch of partners there. And so it's a pipeline that makes connections to, let's see, it makes connections from the treatment plant to lakes I, H, and Cope. We own Lake I, own Cope, and we will, in the near term, own Lake I. These other lakes, we may not own till 2060. And so right now, these are stranded assets. So in order to take advantage of that, we can put a pipeline so we can take water from the treatment plant. Well, the treatment plant, I should say the South Bay Aqueduct. South Bay Aqueduct is right near the treatment plant. So we can take water out of the state system. So for surplus years like last year, we'd be able to recharge a lot of it. We'd also be able to take water from our Lake Del Valle. By routing through this, we can take lake water. And so this year we would have had, or last year we would have had 22,000 acre foot of water we could have put in this system here. So that, let's see. So where we are now, we've selected the alignment, which you see in green, and we're operating this. We're going to do some more studies on it. This is still a little bit behind the others in project development. So we have to come up with some operational schemes, routing, to see how much water we could deliver, and then what diameter pipes we would need, and do more cost estimates on it. So we need more water supply projects to accommodate reduced supplies and growth. And I think the key component of most all these projects is, and certainly the near term, is capturing additional flows with storage. So not, whoops, I'm going to go back. I got, well, I'm lost. Anyway, okay. So we will need most of those projects, but we wouldn't need all of them. But we're going to be making decisions over the next few years that'll on those projects that we're participating in, because if we didn't join then, we would lose the opportunity. And one of the things I want to say, just on an optimistic standpoint, is both of the sites projects and the Los Vaqueros project have received considerable grant funding from both the state and federal. And so that reduces our cost. I don't know how many more reservoir sites are out there or what projects would come along that could offer those same benefits. And I'm going to stop there and be happy to take any questions except PFAS from Alan. I don't want any, let's see. I got to unshare, stop share. There we go. I haven't done this in a while. They got new features there.
Dennis, you did great. Okay, anyone have any questions? I would say for Dennis or John or Margaret. And Rob. I don't want to forget Rob.
Well, either I've done a good job and you understand everything, or a terrible job and it's too confusing to even want to know more about.
Cal Water and we certainly recognize and appreciate the relationship we have with Zone 7. You guys are always very open. We're always looking to secure water and support the needs of the zone, and which will meet the needs of our customers. So thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. And we do have do a lot of coordination working with the retailers. And I even when I was a staff member there, I always liked working with the Cal Water people, business-like and very professional. So I think it's an interesting dynamic having public agencies and private, and then you have a focused utility. Everybody comes at it a little different, but we all have to work together, and we have been doing that for many years.
Yep.
Great. Well, thank you. I've had many family members work up here for Contra Costa Water District. So I just love that y'all love all the water people and working together and trying to figure all this out. So thank you all. All right. So unless anyone has any other comments, I'm looking at Martha or Sherry. So I think we are good today. Our next meeting is Wednesday, June 7th. Everybody have a good month, and we will see you around town.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Appreciate all the great information. Tell a friend for next month. It's a great place to hear about everything happening in our city.
Thank you.
Yeah, June 5th.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.